Hello, hello again. The fourth Tuesday in October, and it's still a time to celebrate Lennon80. And thought we would focus today on Halloween as well as John Lennon, because in Halloween time, 1964, 65, and 66, it was a great time to be a Beatle fan because you could be a Beatle. An actual Beatles Halloween costume produced. All four Beatles were produced. This is John Lennon here, and this is my own original Halloween costume. I wore this as a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 12-year-old, 1964, 65, and 66 myself, going door to door dressed as John Lennon. It was produced by the Ben Cooper Company, one of the major producers of children's Halloween costumes back in the day. They produced, like I say, each of the four boys there, and this is the box John came in. This box was one of those items that was in that big box that my mom gave back to me from our kitchen when I asked my mom about all that Beatles memorabilia. If you remember back, one of the very, very first stories, I talked about this Halloween costume. Also talked about how in 1966, going door to door, 64 went well, 65 went great, being John Lennon. 1966, though, just a couple of months before, in August, the big news about John's controversial comment had come along, and I was still living in the hillbilly town of Bristol, Tennessee, and I remember going door to door with maybe a little devil and a skeleton and a ghost or something like that, and the people would come to the door and say, "Oh, here's some candy for the little devil, here's a candy for the ghost, here's a candy for the skeleton, and who are you?" I said, "I'm John Lennon." "John Lennon, get off my porch, no candy for you." No, I don't recall it was ever that reaction, but I do remember a little hesitance or reaction to being a kid dressed as John Lennon in 1966. But that Halloween costume is one of my very, very favorite precious possessions in my collection. Also, just a mask was produced in those days. This was called a strange mask. Turn it around so you can see the other side where it says strange. My top card there is not in great condition, but this is a pretty rare item right here that was produced. I'd say they produced four different ones of these too, from the four faces across. And it doesn't say Beatles on it anywhere, but that's pretty obvious who that mask is supposed to represent. So you could have either had a full costume or just the face mask in the 64, 65, and 66 days. By 1968, the Yellow Submarine movie had come along, and they were translated very, very nicely to Halloween costumes as well. You could have been a blue meanie with the bad guys represented on your Halloween costume, with a very cool mask there that very, very good likeness of the characters in the movie. Or you could have been on the Beatles side here with the Beatles Yellow Submarine costume, similar type of mask, but if you'll notice, this one is a little bit different because it's got a little portal right here that a light or a little red LED shone through. You could light your mask up as the blue meanie in your Beatles Halloween costume. Honestly, I don't believe that I had one of these as a child. This came with its own box as well. This one was made by Collegeville, another one of the major players in the Halloween costume game there. You can see that's the box for that. I just threw that in there for this to represent the sea of holes. Cellophane was over both of these, but those were long gone after those years. So you could have dressed as a Beatle, a blue meanie, or on the good guys side in the Yellow Submarine land. Now if you're going door to door, what are you doing? You're saying trick or treat at every door. "I'm a Beatle here and I want some candy." If you were really lucky, maybe somebody would give you, as they open the door, they would share some licorice record candy with you. This is a box that the licorice candy records was sold from. And this is a couple of examples of the licorice candy items themselves. Each it was a flat disc of black licorice candy that came in a little envelope like this, with a record label affixed to the top of that licorice record, and slid into that envelope like that to sell in the stores. Those were a dime a piece. And if you were really, really, really lucky going door to door on Halloween, maybe someone would give you some Beatles candy cigarettes or Beatles candy sugar sticks. If you remember in the 60s, they were still promoting smoking with kids, I suppose, because they made miniature cigarettes. In fact, they made candy cigarettes by the legitimate candy makers. There were candy Camels, there were candy Marlboros, there were candy Lucky Strike cigarettes. But for Beatle fans, they made different boxes of each Beatle, and he had those little white candy cigarette sugar sticks in each of those boxes. Very, very, very scarce today. The box that those were sold out of in the stores in the point of purchase were wrapped in a very, very thin, like a bread wrapper type material that these little panels that I have here were wrapping the box that sold these candy stick boxes. And if you notice what it says here, there's a free hand puppet that comes, one hand puppet in each box of about 2 dozen of 50 Sugar Delights in those boxes. So with every 50 of these, there was one of these hand puppets available. Ringo was the only hand puppet that we're aware of that they made from the candy stick confectionery company that put some Beatles memorabilia there. Oh, I've got a little reminder here for Halloween that that Ringo album, that Ringo badge comes from the Goodnight Vienna record, and Goodnight Vienna, of course, had the song Snookeroo. And when was Snookeroo born? On the eve of Halloween. So we got to give a little notice and acknowledgement for Ringo there. And if you're going door to door, you want to be if you have to give the trick side of the equation there in the trick or treat, you might want to have your own Beatlesque noisemaker here. This is a cute guy playing left-handed guitar in the 60s with pointy shoes on there. Doesn't say Paul or Beatles on it anywhere, but if you look up cute guy left-handed playing a guitar, you're going to Google a picture of Paul McCartney there. And this little noisemaker. Let me know when it gets annoying. A noisemaker for the Fabs. I think there's a parallel there somewhere, maybe. And you would need a booty bag, a goodies bag to carry your treats home with you. The Beatles bag, these were called booty bags, marketed as booty bags, had a little insert that had the word booty bags in there. And you could take those door to door with you and say, gimme that candy sticks, candy licorice, or maybe even an apple for the health conscious in Halloween days in 1966. So I hope you've enjoyed these last few weeks here with a John Lennon focus celebrating his birthday, because I sure have. Everything from John Lennon socks or John Lemon socks to all of the posters and albums and Yellow Submarine goodies, and it was just May Pang's birthday the other day. A display card for her book about loving John. She signed that for me not too long ago. And what else? We talked about all the records that John made. It's 40 years ago today, folks, that Starting Over, the single, was released. So happy anniversary to that great song and the return of John there. So like I say, we've done 4 full programs saluting John Lennon80, and I really enjoyed that. Hope you did too. Thanks for watching. I'm enjoying showing off my collection to my friends and fellow collectors so much here. I voted yesterday, and I voted in person, and I think I enjoyed that so much. In 1972, I was the first 18-year-old to vote in my county. They made sort of a big deal presentation waiting for that first 18-year-old, and actually put my picture in the county newspaper there as the first kid voting in Sullivan County, and I never enjoyed voting as much as I did that year and this year. So I hope that if you're looking for someone to vote for, maybe Ringo for president, or if you've got this old Beatles fun kit, they had a recommendation for the campaign as well. And basically, keep in mind some of the songs like All You Need Is Love, Give Peace a Chance, Looking for Changes, Big Boys Bickering, and vote for the guy that represents those things. Okay? So I'm going to take, next Tuesday is election day, so I think we'll probably be distracted a little bit next week, and then we might need a week or so to recover regardless of how that goes. So I'm going to take the next couple of weeks off. Take me a couple of weeks to restore the Beatles room to not being a John Lennon salute room. So what I'm getting at is I'm going to take 2 weeks off here, so it'll be November 17th before the next Live at 5 show. Again, I appreciate you watching. Peace and love. Go vote. Science.